Hello and welcome. My name is Coming Clean and this is the second episode of the series called In-Depth Skylander Analysis, where I pick a Skylander from any of the games and take a thorough look at their playstyle, moveset and how you can use them most effectively. This episode will focus on Camo from the original Spyro's Adventure. Let's get right into it. We'll start with an overview of the character. Camo is a plant-dragon hybrid born at the roots of the Tree of Life. He possesses the power of cultivating fruits at extreme speeds and to use them as weapons. Camo has a versatile main attack and a huge potential damage output, but he is also lacking any movement abilities, requiring a careful approach. He suits players who prefer to engage their enemies at a mid to long distance and to carefully time slow but powerful attacks with devastating results. All of the analysis done in this video is on the level 10 Series 1 Camo on the Vine Virtuoso upgrade path. Let's take a closer look at his moveset. Camo's main attack fires a Sunblast in a straight line that deals 13 damage. To make a comparison to a Skylander with similar main attack, Zap's Electric Blast deals 9 damage but can fire faster but only in 3 round bursts. The attack has a long reach, decent DPS and works well in many different situations. Camo's secondary ability is called Firecracker Vines and is by far his most damaging attack. When fully upgraded, it fires 2 vines in a V-shape with a total of 10 fruits attached to each of them. After a short time, the fruit explodes and deals 12 damage in a small area around them. If Firecracker Vines is used while Camo is stationary, he will remain still when shooting out the vines. If the move is used while moving forward, he makes a short slide. The vines can go straight through many obstacles, but they do get stuck on, for example, walls or the edges of the map. Getting stuck does not increase the total number of fruits, but it does affect the area in which they are spread out. Like any area of effect attack, Firecracker Vines has the most damage potential when used against groups of enemies. However, the fruits are close enough together for multiple of them to damage the same target, making them very effective against slow-moving enemies with large hurt boxes. The major drawback is that Camo is immobile during the entire duration the move is performed, making him vulnerable when it is used too close to enemies. There's also an area right in front of Camo in which the move has no effect, making it a poor choice for engaging enemies up close. Shooting off Firecracker Vines to start off an engagement is usually safe, but using the move in the middle of combat requires good timing and a sense of awareness of the attacks your enemies are about to do, or you're sure to take some damage. It is a true high-risk, high-reward ability. Camo's third ability is called Melon Fountain, which makes him burrow underground and grow a total of 5 melons around him that are then launched in a straight arc all around Camo. The melons can damage enemies before they are launched, and they also have their own hitbox, making them able to stop certain enemy projectiles. Each melon deals 30 damage, and to make a couple of comparisons, Spyro's Ground Pound deals 50 damage, and unlike Melon Fountain, this move can deal damage to more enemies but can't be used as often. Prismrake's Crystal Eruption deals only 20 damage but comes out much faster and can be used with a higher frequency. As the melons travel in an arc, it is on some occasions possible to damage enemies on elevated platforms. When using this move in general, it's important to take the direction you're facing into consideration to make sure your enemies are actually hit by a melon. It's worth noting that one of them is always launched in the direction Camo is facing. Camo is invulnerable during the part of the move when his body is entirely buried underground, so with careful timing it's possible to avoid many of your enemy's attacks. He is however vulnerable during the beginning and end of the animation, during which he is still immobile, making the move very risky in many situations. Using Melon Fountain while close to the spinning axe wheelers, for example, is a sure way to take some damage as their attacks have large lingering hitboxes. Since Camo is left immobile for so long, Melon Fountain needs to be used carefully in general to not get hit by powerful attacks that are otherwise much easier to avoid. Melon Fountain is a move best used as a reaction to something happening during a battle rather than your main way of dealing damage. It has a decent damage output, but nowhere near that of Firecracker Vines that you can use from further away. The invincibility frames can be useful to avoid certain damaging attacks that get signaled clearly, but since Camo has no way to make fast approaches or getaways, the risk of getting punished is usually not worth it. Camo's Soul Gem ability allows him to hold the main attack button to create a Sunblast shield that hovers around him. These orbs have more or less the same properties as his main projectile and damage enemies if it collides with them. Up to 3 Sunblast shields can be created at the same time. When all 3 are active, Camo is healed for 5 damage per second for a total of 8 seconds, giving him 40 HP in total. The healing effect stops immediately if any of the orbs are destroyed. This move can be used as a way to heal you mid-combat. When using it in this way, it's important to keep your distance to your enemies to avoid getting the orbs destroyed, to keep the healing going for the entire duration. Camo's strength lies in his versatile main attack and the huge damage potential of his devastating firecracker vines. He's just as adept at taking on single or multiple enemies, and when used properly, Camo can be a true powerhouse. His moves do however suffer from high startup and end lag, so careful timing is very important when using them. It is very easy to get overwhelmed by enemies if you're not careful, putting Camo in a position where he has a much harder time dealing consistent damage. It is also very hard to get out of these situations without taking some damage due to Camo's lack of movement options. So, how can you use Camo most effectively? Neither Firecracker Vines nor Melon Fountain are moves that should be thrown out without consideration due to the amount of time you are left immobile when using them. Understanding your enemy's attack patterns and general movement is key when playing as Camo, as you need to plan ahead in every situation to make sure you don't end up in a disadvantageous position. Make sure to get familiar with how Firecracker Vines behave, as this is Camo's most damaging attack. The move is a great way to start an engagement and should be used as often as possible during fights as well, as long as it's safe. It is tempting to rush into the middle of the pack of enemies and use Melon Fountain. This is however not the optimal way to use this move for various reasons, at least not on the Vine Virtuoso upgrade path. You are vulnerable by using Melon Fountain, Camo is slow to get out after using it, and the damage output is simply too low. As the hurt box of the attack is limited to 5 straight arcs, it is also easy to miss the enemies you intend to attack in the heat of battle. Melon Fountain is best used when enemies have come too close to you and you need a way to deal with the situation. It can be a good idea to maneuver in such a way so that your enemies attack at the same time, making the best use out of your invincibility. That was an in-depth look at Series 1 Camo on the Vine Virtuoso upgrade path. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned something new. If you want to discuss anything I said about him, you are more than welcome to do so in the comments. Also, consider subscribing for more content like this. That is however it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Coming Clean and I will see you next time. Take care!